in just a few hours in fact. Both men travelled to the duelling field, surrounded by their respective supporters and prepared to face off against one another. The exact piece of ground was decided upon after the toss of a coin, and both men took up their positions.
My quarrel with Mr. O'Connell is not of a religious nature. To the Catholics and their leaders, I hold no animosity whatsoever.
10 paces.
D'Astaire had been shot in the upper leg. Such was the nature of the wound that all present were relieved that the matter had been seen to with no loss of life. It was not immediately obvious that the bullet had unfortunately travelled through D'Astaire's bladder and to the base of his spine. The surgeons present were unable to locate it, and he was brought home to his wife in Bachelor's Walk. O'Connell returned to Dublin with his reputation intact and greeted by his relieved and joyful supporters. It took until Friday, 2 days after the duel, for D'Astaire to die of his wound. In his final moments, he exonerated O'Connell of any blame for the duel, stating that he himself had been the instigator and no other person was to blame. Immediately after his death, all his property and goods were seized under a sheriff's order put in by his business creditors. It was said that when they were finished, all that was left in the house of the family was his coffin. Hearing of the plight of his family, O'Connell offered to split his income with D'Astaire's pregnant widow. The offer was rejected, but he pushed the matter and was allowed to provide funds for his daughter. Following the duel, O'Connell received a letter of confirmation from the family and friends of D'Astaire that they had no intention whatsoever to pursue him legally for his death.
It is a mournful consolation to me to meet with such generous sentiments from those who are most afflicted by this late unhappy event. But believe me, my feelings of regret at this sad event are most sincere and most unaffected. And if I know my own heart, I can say with unaffected truth that no person shall feel the loss sustained by society at the death of Mr. D'Astaire with more real and lasting regret and sorrow than I do.
In the years to come, the death of D'Astaire weighed heavily on the conscience of O'Connell and deeply affected him. His commitment to peaceful means strengthened by his experience. The events of this day 200 years ago show that history can be dramatically affected by just millimetres and milliseconds. The years that followed saw O'Connell cement his place in Irish history and of course the establishment of this great cemetery. His achievements by pacifistic and constitutional means shall never be forgotten, but it is also important to remember what made him the exceptional man we know today. It was reportedly said at his funeral in 1847 that a man such as Daniel O'Connell was not created for the use of a single age or a single people. And every day here at Glasnevin, we try and bring his story to new and international audiences so we all can benefit from it. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to attend today to mark this